Hi, welcome back to the channel everybody. It's Mike Newton here at Penrith Golf Hub. New product review for you today in this particular video. It's driver time and it's the new Callaway Big Bertha B21 driver. So a driver that is very much a draw bias club. So any of you guys out there who are faders or slices of golf ball, Callaway saying this is one of the drivers you should be going out to sort of test, trying to reduce that sort of right miss. Bit of technology to talk about in this particular club and some interesting facts or statements from Callaway which we're going to really test in this particular video. Trackman on the floor, so we'll provide you some data as always, and obviously my personal feedback on the looks and the feel of this particular club. Okay, so Big Bertha B21 driver, what is it all about? So very much a draw biased golf club here. So anybody missing that ball off to the right, for those right-handed golfers, then this is a club to sort of be looking at. So obviously we've got Maverick range, which does have the max head in that particular range, which we can switch the weighted screw into the heel to make more of a draw bias club, but this is all built in. So there is a weight at the back of the head, but it isn't changeable, isn't movable, but there is some internal weighting in that front section and also into the heel. So the big claim here, which would be really interesting, I'm really interested to sort of test this, is it's got to be a low spinning. So it's still very much a distance inspired golf club here, low spin with that weight shoved forward, so the CG forward and also in the heel. So we know CG going down and forward in a golf club helps to reduce spin, keeps the distance up, doesn't it? But also then the weight in the heel to try and obviously get the club face to square up and not have that sort of right miss. So really interested to sort of see this underway. So I'm going to hit a shot and then we'll talk a little bit more about what's sort of being offered in the club in terms of the technology. Just first impressions there, down by that golf ball, we've got this sort of like navy head, we've got this carbon effect on the top section, gloss head, navy, and just sits a little bit toed in. As you'd probably expect, it's a draw bias club. They're just going to point this club face a little bit up this left hand side for me. Oh, and I hit that one well. Just fractionally up the left, but not by a lot. Quite a neutral ball flight there, and that felt brilliant. That felt very, wow, there's 300 on the carry, 148 on that smash, really good. So 113 club head, just short of 168 ball speed. That's fast for me, that's a good ball speed. And look at that spin number 2000, that is right, that carry is getting up to that 300 mark there. That's an impressive start there for the Big Bertha. So technology-wise, in this particular club, we've got a lot of the technology that we've seen, maybe in the Maverick. We've got jailbreak, we've seen that in a few models now. We've got a new improved flash face. So what Callaway is saying is they've redeveloped it yet again, improved it yet again, and increasing ball speed off the face. How much of an improvement over Maverick or maybe over Epic Flash? It's very difficult to sort of say, isn't it? But the claims are there. We've got the carbon crown as we typically see, which does give it that lovely acoustic noise. I would always say it's that muted sound, but it's a very positive crack. I think Callaway do make some good sound in golf clubs. Oh, and again, I've hit that really well. A bit more pulled up that left hand side, and I'm probably going to expect to see that because really this club is designed to start that ball up the left, but it's not a lot by a long way. And again, that's such good numbers in terms of me maxing my distance out. 168 ball speed is pretty quick and some low spin. So typically you go into a draw bias golf club, they tend to be weight right, shoved, obviously heel, but also way back in the golf club, get the ball up in the air. Typically for the golfers, might just struggle to flight the golf ball, are the typical ones that maybe sort of slice it a little bit more as well. So they tend to do all that, and it's just then a bit more high spin, get the ball up in the air, get it going more to that left, and that golfer's generally happy. So this is a little bit different, that the Callaway and they're moving that CG down and forward in that club head and also into that draw bias. So they're keeping that distance down. I'll tell you what, those spin numbers are as good as probably any other club. Now the makeup I've got in this, it's a 9 degree. There is other lofts available, so I've got the 9 degree head. I've got it set at 9 degree neutral, so I'm not doing anything through the neck sleeve, but there is options there to add the loft, as you see in the Maverick head and other sort of models that Callaway have done with the neck sleeve. The shaft is just pretty much the bog standard one that comes in this, which is the RCH 55. So it's a lightweight shaft, and it's not typically a shaft that I would probably go into. And this is only an S flex, so I typically would play an X. So I could probably say this isn't dialed into me perfectly, but I'll tell you what, when I look at those numbers, so, you know, clearly that head is doing a job there, isn't it? Because that shaft would tend to probably not be as stable for me, and maybe just probably spin up a little bit more for me with that typical weight in the flex, but the numbers aren't suggesting that. Good start so far. Ooh, right, that's testing its forgiveness. That was a big high toe. That was an awful strike, but I'll tell you what, again, that's flown well. Interesting to see what so obviously a drop there on that ball speed. The strike was pretty awful, but 287 hasn't dropped a massive amount and would have still hit the fairway. So as I say, with this club, as it was sitting it behind the golf ball, does sit a little bit toed in, as you'd sort of expect from a draw bias club. Shape of it's quite nice, to be fair. It's a little bit more sort of longer in that, from that front to that back edge of the golf club there. We've got that sort of navy finish, gloss finish there, which I think is quite nice, to be honest. And we've just got this little bit of red sort of line on there, which just sort of sits back from that club face. Just gives us that sort of, just maybe takes the eye away a little bit from the club face. I mean, it's nothing that's too funky there, but just noticeable, those red lines. Whether we actually would need that, I don't know. Obviously, you've got the little Callaway V logo as an alignment aid. Tell you what, that feels really, really good. You know, when I picked this up, I thought, I'm going to review this golf club. This isn't for me. It's a draw bias golf club. It's not a golf club that I would be sort of really going to look at. But I tell you what, it's probably one of the straightest drivers I've ever hit. And I just didn't expect it to feel like it is doing. The sound of it doesn't associate, you know, the draw drivers don't associate these sort of feels, the sounds, and those sort of numbers. Very, very healthy. Ooh, right, that's an interesting one, because if I didn't see that ball flight, which has come out very neutral again, if I hadn't saw that, I would have gone, that's missed to the right. That felt like I got open a little bit, just a touch ahead of that, and that hasn't lost a long way right. It's gone a long way. These ball speeds are impressive, but that felt like I was going to lose that, and it didn't. So, was that bit of weight just helping that toe to come in, possibly? Okay, that one's got a little bit more of the left-hand side. Again, the strike's good, the flight's really good, the sound is beautiful. I love the sound of that, and it does feel pretty good off that club face. 170 ball speed. Interesting numbers there. Let's look at those numbers in a little bit more detail, but I think we've got a bit of a gist that is working quite nicely there, isn't it? And we'll see how this Big Bertha driver is performing. Okay, so let's have a little look at those ball flights. So just popping all those flights up onto the screen. Again, some very nice sort of trajectories. Peak of it sort of flight and the way it's sort of coming in, and we saw some good distances there. You can see there's that drop off with that toe strike I got, which you can see just obviously drops a bit of ball speed, that little bit of distance, but it's not a lot, is it? For a miss hit, it was still very, very straight, and a decent enough sort of dispersion. And then just moving into the numbers in a little bit more detail, we can see club head speed averaging just under 113, ball speed just short of 167 on average, which is good for me. That's a pretty quick ball speed for me. Launching 11.4, which is good, and the spin at 216. So that's the bit that really gets me, and it makes sense to what Callaway are sort of saying in a way. You know, that CG going forward, this is keeping it low spin, which helps to get that ball travelling forward and not spin up and stall through the air. And again, everybody's delivery is differently, but I'm typically a little bit of a higher spin golf. If I miss my strike a little bit, I tend to see my spin creep high 2,000, sometimes edging 3,000, which I know will kill a little bit of distance. So for a draw biased golf club, I would not expect that spin number, especially with that shaft. Again, very light shaft for me, and probably not as stiff as what I would typically play. That's a fantastic number. So if you get that launch, that ball speed with that sort of spin, that's one of the reasons why that carry distance is averaging at 297, which is long for me, and smash at 148, so really efficient. Right, everybody, well that shocked me to say the least. I wasn't expecting that from this type of driver, and I tell you what, I really like that. I think if that was in a little bit more of a neutral setting, because to be fair, I hit that quite straight. I was expecting more left because my bad one tends to be a little bit more left. But if that was a bit more of a neutral setting, I would love that. I think the impressive numbers, great sound. The look doesn't float me boat massively, but I could get used to that. To be fair, if I hit more shots like that, I soon get over the look. And when I say look, it's just a little bit the shape of the head for me, just a bit more sort of triangular to that back section. Not massively keen on that. Maybe the blues, probably not my favourite colour. Do you know what? I'm just getting a bit sort of picky. But I mean, the proof in the pudding is the numbers, isn't it? That was very nice and visually looked fantastic to me. So very impressed. Let me know your thoughts. Comment down below. Big Bertha B21, is that something that you would want to go out and try? Would you be looking for that draw biased help in a club to try and reduce your shape, or would you be willing to maybe go more down paying for lessons, or is it a balance of both? You know, you improving yourself slightly and also then getting a bit of technology to help you along your way. That'd be an interesting one for me to sort of find out from you as viewers. So post your comments down below as always. Appreciate your feedback. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you haven't subscribed, please just hit that subscribe button. Also ring that bell. Follow me up on social media platforms, both Instagram and Twitter, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.